You are watching Whatever Works, I guess. The first episode. I am ParmaJohnIV. I'm here with ItaliX Prod, which is short for ItaliX Productions.
Good evening.
This is our first run of this podcast called, like I said, Whatever Works, I guess. It is April 8th, 2026. It is 12 in the morning. It's very low budget right now. I don't have any real heavy editing or anything like that. But we're going to be doing this.
We could probably make another intro in post.
Sure. And it's kind of late. You know, it's not too late, but that's the reason why we're not too loud. But yeah, this is going to be kind of like a boring start. But this podcast is going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about educational things. We're talking about opinions. You know, we're going to make some facts, but this is kind of like a podcast where you express your opinion. We're going to be talking about just like music, a lot of music topics, not just music as in the songs, but like the production side of it, you know, how you make the music. You know, we're going to be also be talking about a lot of biblical things eventually. So yeah, it's going to be a lot, but we're going to start this off pretty simple. Today's topic is actually going to be about school and the experiences within school, and the different types of experiences you will, you might see, you know, you might have to go through depending on what kind of school you are attending. Let's see. We're going to just start off with going from the toddler stage, like when you're like really young and you're like breaking out of it and you're in like K4 kindergarten. So we're going to just start there. So I guess I'm going to go first for this part. So I started out in a private school. My grandparents, you know, and then my parents, and they would teach me certain things, you know, like the basics. But when I hit about 4, I got sent to a private school that is not, you know, I'm not even going to go there right now, but there was this private school, and it was, let's just say it was called Alliance. And I was 4 years old, and I remember my dad, he took me, and this was like before I really knew what school was. I was like 4, and this was in 2009, for anybody wondering. And I do remember the first day. And I went in there, and it was like a small class. It had like wooden panels. It was like an older, nice lady. Her name was Miss Becky. That was my first teacher. And it was a very like inviting type of place. If anybody remembers my older room, it kind of looked like that, with the wood and the kind of like the low lighting. And but this was a Christian school, so like the things that we were getting taught there, it wasn't like some, you know, streamlined type of thing where it was like only the basics and then the rest of the time you're just doing a bunch of whatever. You know, we were getting taught things like, you know, this is the day that the Lord has made, you know, I'll rejoice and be glad, and it does have a stuff. So it was like, it was a good mix. But I remember going in there, and I was a little bit confused though, because there were other kids there, and I'm thinking to myself, so how long am I supposed to be in this room, and when do I leave, you know? And I ended up making up some good friends there. I made some good friends. What confused me the most out of all of this was the days where I thought I was like behaving good were the days where my teacher would tell my dad I was pretty good, and the days where I was not that good, and I was like not necessarily mean, because I wasn't necessarily mean, but like the days where I was cutting up a little bit were the days where my teacher was like, "Oh, he was excellent."
I think that's how that works.
Okay,
You can't
so
tell
I'm
me.
gonna let you go now.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm being
You're
dead
not
serious. I don't know how I remember this. This is 2009, 2010. No later than that.
genuinely give up. I give up.
And I remember we had nap time and all the lights were out, right? Which is kind of creepy, but
Sorry, what?
like, well, yeah, we had nap time and all the lights were out. It was pitch black, except for the light coming out of the door.
I think you told me about this.
I remember Miss Becky talking about how we were going to kindergarten, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, so we're graduating to like a garden outside, like we're doing like garden work." And I'm like, so this is where the big boys go. We go outside and we, like, I thought it was something crazier than what it was just because of the name.
Yeah, I feel bad for you.
I don't know
Very
what to
bad.
tell you, man. But that's literally like, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was homeschooled pretty much my whole life. Yeah, my whole life. I never went to classes for anything besides like extracurricular stuff. So like, I went to soccer class for a little while. Took some piano classes here and there. That was more recent though. But specifically, like when I was homeschooled, the way that everything was set up, my birthday is in a very weird position. And it was after the registration date for like public school systems. I was always a grade ahead, but like
Right.
most of my homeschool life was done out of books up until I think fifth or sixth grade. I think it was fifth grade. I remember starting in fifth grade that we started doing an online program. And boy, I thought it was gonna be just the best thing. So excited. My poor naive self. That should really just say enough as it stands. I mean, it wasn't bad, you know.
Right.
I did it pretty much the entirety of the rest of my life, including recently. I took my final class on that same program. Kind of came full circle, which I thought was cool. But that was pretty. It was like, it was something.
Right.
The website was old and outdated and glitchy. Like, I kid you not, some of those lessons had like DOS box screenshots. It was like Windows 97. I don't even know.
Windows
if that
97 is crazy. What?
exists. I'm not kidding. It was like some. Dude, it was. I wish I could find it. There you had one lesson, one of the one video like demonstrations. Was probably the most outdated OS in all of humanity. It didn't say Internet Browser. It didn't say Microsoft Internet Explorer. It didn't say anything. It just said Internet. And it was like this I in italics. And it brought up like probably the most bare bones Internet Explorer like demonstration I have ever seen. And I was like, made this and when? The question remaining here is not a matter of like who made this or how or why, but rather why didn't they update it? Because we are in 2021 and I'm watching this from like the 1970s. Teaching me how to use an internet browser. Like if this was the 1990s, I'd get it, but this isn't the 1990s. That pretty much sums up some of the lessons. Some of the lessons were outdated. Some of the lessons were annoying in terms of like they did not explain things very well. The website was old and buggy. It might as well have been from 2007 and never updated again. You know, all of that eventually, you know, kind of just came with using it though, and so I got used to it.
Right.
But that's how, yeah, like you know how you felt graduating into kindergarten. That's pretty much how I felt going into online schooling, because I didn't really have a kindergarten. That was really just like preliminary education for me,
Right.
because I didn't go to public school
Yeah. So
or private school, just in-person schooling as a whole. I did not attend.
Right. So I'm gonna attempt to go in order because I want to tell you guys about the things, like more recent things, but I'm gonna just go from when I was younger to when, basically the entire timeline. But anyways, going back to 2010, 2009, 2010. So
I
when
was still learning how to read.
yeah, so 2009, 2010. And for reference, I was born early 2005, so I was, like I said, 5 years old. I remember we were doing a whole bunch of vowel stuff, which of course I already knew how to talk and all this stuff, but like, you know, A E I O U, you know, all this stuff. You know, that's just the, you know, the stuff they would teach you in K3. They'd just move it on to K4 and all this stuff, and coloring and, you know, writing. I already knew how to write, obviously, you know, so it was just kind of, just stuff I already knew how to. It wasn't anything I had to like. I didn't need anybody to sit me down and teach me how to do this stuff because I already like was kind of already on that level. But it was really, I really took that opportunity as a and honestly, I didn't know how much my dad was even paying for this stuff until like later, until I was like a teenager. Like, he didn't tell me that it cost that much money. Like, I was just assuming it was just a school. Like, I had no clue. But we're not gonna get into that. I basically took that opportunity to make friends. My first real friend, his name was Gabriel Griffin. And we just clicked. It's just those things. It's what happens when you make friends, you know? Like, you kind of stay in groups and whatnot. So we kind of just stayed in groups. And eventually I went to like Chuck E. Cheese and all these places with him and all that stuff. It was cool. My dad got a lot of it on tape. I don't know where it is, but the thing about this private school is they were different buildings, right? So you had like the brick building, and then you had the high school building, because this private school isn't just little kids. There are high school students in the other room or the other building. And if we were to, when there was like a music class and a gym class, those are the only two that I remember. There was a computer class too. But they were basically two buildings. Actually, no, there was three buildings, probably more. There was the church building that was the modern building. We're going to get there in a second. The brown building, which was the bricks, and then the old high school building. So when we would go in the high school building, it used to scare me to death because I would go in the high school building. This was an old school bell, okay? So a lot of the school bells, y'all are used to like the digital beep. It was like the metal bells on the wall. So every time that there was a class change, like probably 100 plus decibels will go directly into my ears at max volume, just out of nowhere. You don't know when it's gonna happen. So there was a music class. There was this black lady that was there. She was nice. There was like a bunch of pianos in there. It was just like, it was so weird because there was just so many pianos, and I don't even really remember like learning that much about music too much because we were younger. But like, that was my first music class. And then the gymnasium had like an old Powerade vending machine, and that kind of sparked my interest when it came to like the Y2K, you know, like the early 2000s aesthetic thing with the Powerade logo and stuff. That kind of got me interested into that. But fast forward to kindergarten, that's when I got switched to the modern building where the church was. And there was this lady named Miss Perry, and she was a piano player. She was a pianist, which I didn't know until later on. But when I got into kindergarten, I was just thinking to myself, oh, so you tell me that this is just like a never-ending loop of just classes? Is that like, I wasn't disappointed, but I was just like, okay, so this, you know, we're just gonna be going up as we get older. Got it.
For the record, you probably wouldn't have learned much if it wasn't just classical music, because that era was like peak 4-chord progression time period.
Yeah, I don't think it was classical music stuff, because I got the classical music thing usually from Little Einsteins. That was the classical music influence. It wasn't at my school. I don't even remember what genre they were even teaching at all. I do remember well, my first musical influences were they were black genres, because my dad would play those genres in the car. But later on, then that's when the other things came in, because my dad also liked classical music, and then little Bill also had jazz music. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on at the same time.
I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of musical influences that happened all at once. Though that's for a different episode. The gymnasium was.
We're not bringing PE into this.
Oh yes, this was my first PE class, and we barely did anything. But that's what made it fun, though, because we didn't. Now, when I get into the public school side of things, that's where it gets crazy. But they were just like, they would basically just have us walk in like straight lines and do like these random stretches, and I'm just like, okay, so that's it. And then they would take us in this back room with windows, and when I tell you that was one of the most rundown rooms I've ever been in my entire life. I remember it so vividly, and I think it was to either wash our hands or get water or something. But it was so run down. But it was, but the thing about that school, it was, since it was a private school, like I had nothing to worry about because everybody was like in order. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody's being paid to be there, and the teachers that are actually in the right mind.
Right.
Unlike some public schools.
And Miss Perry, she would sing these songs like, it's snack time, it's snack time. When it was snack time, you know, and then we also there was a lot of music in that school, you know, a lot of songs that we did that just didn't exist in public school. Like we did a January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, August, September, October, November, December. Like the fact that I remember those, however long 2010, how many years ago that was, 16 years ago. The fact that I remember that is crazy. But and I remember what key that she sang the songs in too. Don't ask how I remember that. So, anyways, we did a bunch of songs in C major.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense than it.
Yeah. And we would learn about like different countries and things like that.
What?
But what? This is where it gets crazy, because
I didn't know
we had the color.
What grade is this? Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. We learned about like Switzerland.
Kindergarteners knew what other countries were.
Yeah, we learned about Europe and all the things. Anyways,
I can imagine a kindergartner walking up to me talking to me about some like Napoleonic wars.
I don't know about all that.
Now, that'd be funny.
I don't even know how I'd be able to react to that. I don't think I would be able to react.
I wouldn't react. I would just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we were learning things that weren't just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's just put it that way. I remember we had like fruit cups and just little snacks and whatever. And I remember it was such a nicer classroom. It had like windows, and it was like, you know, white walls, and it was like really polished in there. And
it just felt intentional.
Correct. We sat in crisscross applesauce and things of that nature.
I'm assuming that's where you got that term from too.
Most likely, yes. The only thing about that class is that's when the color coded thing got introduced. The green, yellow, red. Yeah, where like if you were bad. And
oh gosh.
There was only one time where I had to change it, and it's because I wasn't properly taught about stealing.
Oh, good grief.
I didn't know that it was bad, so I took somebody's thing and put it in my book bag. It was this squishy ball that, like, if you squeeze it, it would like change color.
Those used to be the thing.
I always wanted one, and I wasn't even jealous. I didn't hate this person. The guy he had like a lot of, like, you know, hair that kind of like curly, spiky hair kind of thing. And he was nice. I didn't hate him at all. I just wanted the ball, and I wanted to show it to my parents. That was the only reason why I
took it naively.
I took it because I wanted to show my parents, and I was kind of like joking, you know, like I was gonna give it back to him. I just wanted to take it for that day, and I knew if I would have asked him, he probably wouldn't have let me do it. And then he was like, "Where's my ball at?" Of course, I could have been like, "I don't know where it is." I could have been like that, but see, I knew that if I was to lie about it, then I would have gotten in more trouble. So I just gave it back to him, and then the look on my teacher's face was like, she was heated, and then I ended up having a nightmare about her.
Oh, good grief!
I ended up having.
I mean, like, I understand, but I don't understand why your teacher was mad.
Listen, my dad was about to beat me, but he changed his mind.
Oh.
I remember in the kitchen there was this red chair, I think, and I had to go in like timeout or something. He was going to, but then they just decided against it. I don't know if it's because Mimi and Granddaddy convinced him, which are my grandparents, by the way. That's what I call my paternal grandparents, Mimi and Granddaddy. Okay, so
here we go.
Because I used to live with them. Keep this in mind. That was
Just get the lore out of it.
This was my first house, Portsmouth, Virginia. This was my first house. Okay, they decided against it, and I think the reason why is because I didn't really know. Like I was telling them I didn't know that was bad. But all right, we're just gonna get off of that.
This is just getting more and more unhinged as time progresses.
Yeah. So there was this. I remember there was this crazy, wacky picture day, right, where you had to pay for it. Okay.
Oh yay!
You remember this?
Wait, no, you've never told me this. It's just like it sounds like the most like 2010s kindergarten thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, this was 2000. Yeah. So this was late 2010, early 2011. Once you get into kindergarten, they start doing events and stuff. We went outside and planted stuff before, and like I said, we had a
So you did do gardening.
Yes, but there was like this thing, and it was I don't know what it was, but it was a crazy picture day thing. You had to dress up crazy, right?
Oh, so that's where that started. I mean, what? Continue.
Kind of. There was a lot of different influences for that, but yeah. So no one told me that you had to pay for it or that it was a crazy picture day. I thought the lady just came up to the door and was like, "All right, line up for pictures," and I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna line up for pictures."
Oh gosh.
And she ended up, and I had the most boring outfit on in the entire world. Like, it was the most boring, like, I had on a red turtleneck sweater. And I had, like, a low haircut. And it was a great outfit. Like, it looked really good, but it was the complete opposite of crazy. Like, it was so, like, formal. And that picture is still on my grandparents' refrigerator to this day. The same picture, the same frame and everything. It's a magnet picture. I don't know if they paid for it, but they gave him the picture anyway, and it's still there. And I was right outside the door. I was right
about the paying thing that much, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
No, I don't think they did. I don't think they cared about that. But the fact that they didn't like cancel it is just so funny to me. But yeah, I was right outside that door. And I think I have it on my phone. If I do, it will be popped up on the screen. But we're gonna just go off topic now a little bit because this is starting to get ridiculous. There was a chain linking thing. This makes no sense, but like, you know, like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they're like paper chains. Have you seen it? They're like, I don't even know what it is.
You mean like the ones where you like draw people and they're all holding hands kind of chain?
I don't know. Like that, but they were chains. It was like that, but they were chains. It was so weird.
Okay.
And they were like, whoever had the longest chain gets like some prize, right?
Sorry, how does that even get judged properly?
I don't remember.
Like, what if you use all of the school's paper to make one chain? Like,
I don't
how
see.
then does it be judged?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just know that my dad did it for me. I woke up and the mess was going down because we had 2 hallways in the house. Okay, we had my grandparents' house is my grandparents' house is large. Okay, they were partly in charge of building it, but the house has 2 hallways, the downstairs hallways and then the upstairs hallway. That chain was going out the door, and my dad really did all night doing that. And I could have swore, I was thinking to myself, oh no, I'm gonna win this. I literally go, all right, so I go to school with it, and then it turns out that we didn't win it.
How?
But the chain that did win, that mess looked short as crap. That mess looked so short, and it got me. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, "What do you mean they won? That doesn't even look as long. Like, that is not the same length." I guess I don't know. I was 5, so I probably was wrong. But
no, if your dad stayed up, your dad is resilient. If he stayed up all night doing that, I refuse to believe that you actually lost. There had to have been an incentive to make you not win.
I don't know. I just know that it just didn't make any sense. The cafeteria at this school, they had chicken nuggets and fries, or nacho cheese, nachos and cheese and fries.
College
And I didn't
schools?
even know that until
No.
I saw somebody else get it. And I was thinking to myself, why didn't anybody tell me this?
To have like had a lot of issues with like things that are supposed to be common knowledge to students.
Yeah, there were certain things that they definitely should have told everybody, if that's what you meant. Because, like, I feel like
just
that
first day of school, here's a list of everything you need to know.
right. Like, I didn't know that they had nachos. And then, but what I did know, though, is on Friday they had Sonic. They had Sonic every single Friday. And I'm 5. I don't know how my 5-year-old self remembered this. I don't understand. Like, my memory was on some other stuff. But they had Sonic every Friday, and I would get a cheeseburger, and that's what made me like Sonic. So Sonic was right across the street from there, and that's what really made me enjoy. I remember one time we had like this Thanksgiving stuff. I think I almost spilled it. Going to the classroom, they brought like we were eating in the classroom, and I just remember like carrying it. And I'm just thinking to myself, how am I supposed to carry this? And
Sounds like our family gatherings.
yeah. And then we also had plays, Christmas plays, and I was part of a Christmas play because Miss Perry was the piano player because there was a church. Remember, this is a church.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, and I ended up befriending this second grader girl.
Huh?
yeah. I forgot.
This
I forgot what her name was, but
plot twist.
she was like my best friend. Yeah, she was a lot older than I was, but she was like my best friend.
I gotta talk to you
and
about that after this.
She taught me how to swing. Yeah, she taught me how to swing. Yeah, she taught me how to swing, and I didn't know how to swing, and she taught me how to do it.
It's like how my cousin taught me how to brush my teeth. I kid you not. But that's a story for a different time.
I mean, whatever works, right?
I guess. That was way too good of a That was so bad, but so good at the same time. Okay, we need to get on with it.
Yeah, so I guess.
Oh, that was terrible.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay, listen. So, like I said, that was my first friend that was a girl. Was her. But the weird thing is, people would warn me about her. They'd be like, why are you friends with her? Don't do that.
What?
Yeah, and I'm just like, why
This just
not?
got so much darker.
Why not? And then they were like, because she's mean to animals and she kills the ants and gets and is like, I don't know.
It's just like
She's like just like kills
masochistic towards animals.
Right. She's just
Well,
like
that's
kills the
yeah.
animals for fun and things like that. And I'm just like,
That's
okay.
disturbing.
I didn't really think of it too much of as a big deal, but then I kind of remember like we're in a Christian school, so like I don't.
Yeah, that's even more concerning. It'd be different if it was a public school, but
And
at the same time, it wouldn't be different. It's still disturbing.
Yeah, and they had these like plastic, those plastic houses that you can like go inside and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They had two of those, and I used to like go in both of them, and one of them was more run down than the other, and I was just like, why? What is this like?
You give me bad memories of something.
Now before we get out of this Alliance Christian school stuff, okay? Because like I said, this school ended up shutting down.
That's a big rip.
Yeah, they ended up because they couldn't. I guess it was a money issue. Before I did all this was like 2007 or 2000. No, I think it was 2008 actually. We had this no, not we. I had this daycare thing that my mom and my dad put me in. It was it was Mimi's friend or something, and I think her name was Miss Lorraine. And I don't even care about saying these names online. I don't care. I try to be a little private, but that's just. Listen, I don't even know her full name. Okay, but
To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't her name.
No, there's one of her. I don't know if it was her last or her first name. I don't know. But before I went into school, I do remember going to this daycare, and I think I was 3, and this daycare was at this lady's house, right in a court. And let me tell you, the nostalgic memories with the trees and how like the sun looked like reflecting, it was super nostalgic. But anyways, that's completely separate. Okay, her house was she had a whole bunch of kids, all different types of kids in there. Like there's like a crib and all this stuff, and like there was nothing.
Kids, or were they just a bunch of kids?
Yeah, there was just nothing to do, and
that went a completely different direction.
No, there was nothing to do, and it was nap time, right? And this little girl had this little girl had the most decked out princess bed ever, and I'm just like, wait a second. What do you mean? She gets this crazy,
all her skill points on aesthetics.
This crazy Cinderella looking pink bed and stuff, and I got a trampoline as a bed. I'm being dead. A blue trampoline.
You had to sleep on a trampoline.
A trampoline, and I had no blanket or pillow. It was a trampoline.
Okay, bro, that's messed up.
And I was so tired, and I fell off the trampoline, right? And I was just like, I would rather sleep next to it on the floor. She came in the room and she was like, "Get back on my train!" I'm like, "Dang, bro."
What?
Yes, I'm being dead serious.
Why does she hate you?
I don't listen. I was so startled. I didn't cry or anything. I was just like, "Why are you yelling at me like this? Like this girl gets this crazy Sophia the zero bed, and I get a trampoline." And now you yelling at me. I didn't ask to be here. She didn't yell at me, but she was like, I don't know, maybe she thought I was playing around. But I genuinely,
you were sleeping on a trampoline.
Listen, I was calm, but like if I can't stay in one place for too long without moving around somehow. Like, and I wasn't even tired.
Kids can, especially in daycare. It's hard to get kids.
That's what I'm saying.
To go to sleep.
And I wasn't even really that tired. I wasn't even really that tired. And when I finally was tired, I wanted to get off the trampoline just to sleep next to it, or I fell off of it, or something happened. I don't know. It was crazy. Anyways, so that's my kind of wild. Those are my old days. Okay, so what I just went over was my old days. Okay, ParmaJohnIV when he was younger, growing up how I grew up. I really do miss that school though. There were probably a few other things that I missed, but those were the main things. I remember we had this. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about this right quick. We had this computer room, right? And this wasn't like an ordinary computer room. There weren't like laptops or like Dell monitors. Like just like normal like 2006 Dell monitors, like the ones that your dad had or something, right? It was like these big CRT things, okay, these box monitors, they had to be from the 90s, and I was so confused because at my house we had Windows XP and we had Windows Vista. That's what we used to rock. Okay.
When did Windows 8 come into the
2013. This was like when I think this was around the time Windows 7 just came out, so we were barely even using that.
Don't even get me started
at my house.
Windows 7.
Okay, I grew up on Windows XP and Vista. Okay, I didn't grow up on 7. It wasn't until I was maybe about 6 or 7 years old when I got into 7. Okay, so I'm an XP person by heart. I'm an XP guy.
Slight detour before you continue. I grew up on Windows 7, and I regret every second I spent on that operating system. Despite the nostalgic, whatever it's Fruit Tiger era, I think. Despite all that, Windows 7 is the worst version of Windows, and you cannot change my mind.
I would like Windows 7 if it didn't take 48 minutes to load the Internet Explorer.
POV tried to open Internet Explorer.
And then when you're trying to like do something like do like dang, like stop.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you this much though: the laptop that was running Windows 7 ran it better than my modern laptop I got later on that was running Windows 10. So it says something, and it wasn't even it was just a generic.
I always love Windows 7 better than 10 though. I don't even care. Now 10 has great stuff, but when it comes to like running it, those first computers I running Windows 10, they were struggling pretty hard.
Yeah, because half of them were made with Intel Pentium.
Right.
Half of them were just Intel Pentium laptops that excelled at some things and decelled at others. I don't even think that's a word.
But anyways, about the operating system, these computers were running like when I tell you that the quality looked like Super Mario on the NES, I'm being dead serious. That's how pixelated it was. It was like some Windows 95. I was just like, what is this? Are these like what kind of games are we playing on here? It was just so like the fact that I even got a chance to even experience those days, even though I knew this was like 2009, 10, 11. The fact that they even still had that technology in that place, like these kids today have no clue what in the world I'm talking about. Like I know people think Gen Z is like super young and a lot of them don't know what they're talking about, but like I grew up on this old stuff, okay? Like I'm not ignorant to it. I don't know everything about old stuff, but trust and believe. The old soul thing, that was part of it. Why I have an old soul is because of that.
Yeah, the first video games I played were on the NES.
Right,
And
that's
that
what I'm
was pretty
saying.
much most of my childhood.
Yeah, there's a lot of Gen Z. They know what's up with that stuff. You know.
That's for a different time, though.
Oh yeah, we can. That's a whole different conversation. We're gonna go and switch now. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you on a cliffhanger.
Oh, splendid.
My dad re-meets my stepmom. Okay.
This is
Or bonus
going
mom.
very deep.
Yes. Okay, we live in this apartment, and this is like 2000, late 2010. So this was around the time I was still the kindergarten days, right? That was the transitional period before we moved from Mimi Grandy's house to the apartment. And this is all my dad's side. My mom's side is a whole different story. Okay, this is my dad's side of the family we're talking about. Once we got moved to the apartment in 2010, that's when I met my siblings, my current siblings. And once kindergarten was over, okay, public school happened. And this was when I went to the elementary school. For anybody who knows,
Cue to Beethoven.
it's Creekside. But that was my elementary school, and we're gonna just leave it on this cliffhanger that basically everything that I knew about school, about 5 times worse, and about 10 times the pace that you had to do things at. In public school they did things about, like I said, 10 times faster. They were not playing any games there. Okay, so we're gonna leave it there. Cliffhanger. But what a lot of y'all don't know is that we used to actually use the house phone as our primary communication.
I don't even want to bring up those days. Those were some dark
Before
times.
Google Meet, and when there was Hangouts sometimes.
No, listen, Google Hangouts was the thing. And when my computer was dead, it was to the house phone it was. Sometimes it would be in the kitchen on the floor with my laptop burning my legs up because the thing was from probably the 90s and it got really hot for no justified reason. Where am I going with this? Oh, yeah, So, I would just be on the floor talking to this dude on that, like, the wired house phones, like the landline house? That's what...
Yeah, and we're not going to talk about the fax machine days. But
no, listen.
That's a whole different conversation.
We will keep that for a different topic. We're already so far off from the original topic as it stands. We cannot go down that route. We will be here until the end of time.
Well, it looks like the intermission is over. So I switched schools to public school, and I didn't necessarily hate or dislike this school. It was really a mixed bag because some of the teachers there, they were pleasant, and then some of the other teachers weren't pleasant because they just had enough with kids, so they basically projected their entire their entire like bad emotions and what they're going through and their assumptions. They basically just projected it on everybody. And they, a lot of the times you would get targeted. You know, they would like pick certain kids out and pick on them. But you know, I never really had any issues with like the kids there. They weren't. I mean, they were obviously more on edge compared to the private school kids. But I never had any real like. I never really like had to like, you know, square, throw my hands up or anything. I never had to do any of that. So it was, which was, you know, that's a blessing. You know, a lot of kids get into fights like that all the time. I wasn't the type to do that anyway. But this is where the fire drill stuff happened, because first grade, right? Once I got into first grade, and I was like, wait a minute, how do you go from kindergarten to first grade? Like, it didn't make it
myself since forever.
It didn't make any sense. And I was like, wait a minute. So there's a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, nine, and then my parents were like, yes. And I'm just thinking to myself, why? Why? How many are there? How long am I going to do? How long am I going to do this for? I thought this was going to like go into something cooler and cooler every time, but it felt like I downgraded or something, you know. And the truth is, I did downgrade, but it was because, you know, the life situations were different, you know, and private school costs money, and over time it adds up, you know. So public school it didn't really cost money like that. So that was the biggest reason why. And then also my sister, Ari, she went to that school too. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, my brother, Armand went to that school. And, you know, so it made it a little bit easier just because I knew people at that school. Armand was very well received. Like, people really liked him because he was a very, you know, charismatic person in general. So the teachers were like fans of Armand, you know, to the point where the music teacher, instead of calling me by my name, would call me Little Armand. You know, so now I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not John anymore.
What kind of person was a music teacher?
He was a black guy.
Oh.
He probably was in his 30s or something, maybe his 20s. And he wasn't even mean about it. He didn't mean it in any type of way. But once I told him that Armand was my brother, then everything breaks loose. Kind of like I got like a power up or something, you know, like.
That's like how when I told everyone in the PvP community that I was your cousin. Wow.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Your grandfather's uncle's brother's son's daughter's boyfriend's cousin met Eminem? Oh, man. You're the thing, boss. Good grief.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm not that, though, you know? So that's the only thing. Like, but that's just how it was. But anyways, my first grade teacher, her name was Miss Linner. And she reminded me of Miss Becky, but she had a different haircut. And she was... Listen.
What a thing to notice about somebody.
Her haircut, I've never seen anybody wear that hairstyle ever again in my entire life.
I give up.
But she was such a nice person. You know, like she was just as nice as Miss Becky. And by the way, I actually met Miss Becky in the Walmart when I was like 12, by the way, like later on down the line.
That sounds like a very intimidating encounter.
And I was like, wait, she looks familiar. And then, lo and behold, it was my...
How long did you stand there talking to her?
Well, I don't know, but my dad was there, so that was good. Because, of course, you know, she would remember my dad, too. It was different. It would be different if I was with my mom, because you don't know who the heck my mom is. So, anyway.
That was worded horribly.
I gotta listen. Okay. She was a nice teacher, and so eventually she had to retire due to age, I think. This was when the fire drill started, because she would be like, okay, class, so today we're going to be having a fire drill. And then when I figured out what fire drills were and how the fire alarms were so loud.
Oh, you gotta run.
Listen, this is why I think that there was something different in my brain. I don't know, okay? And I don't really care, but I started yelling. I started crying and yelling in front of the entire class, and no one else cared. I was the only one that cared. And I was like crying about how I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to go home and all this stuff. And they're like, well, she was like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, but you can't go home, you know. And I'm just like, but I don't want to get jump scared. I didn't like getting jump scared. You know, that was the thing. It wasn't even the fire alarms. It was because I got jump scared by it. And she said, like, if I hear any noise during these tests, you know, you're gonna have to get your card removed. And of course, I made noise during the test and got my card moved. But second grade, before I go into second grade, the thing about this school is they had a lot of different extra classes. Like, they had computer class, they had art class, they had music class, they had all these different classes. And the computer class, it was actually Windows 7. So this was before Windows 8 came out. All right.
That
so this was Windows 7.
I'm still confused.
Yeah, because we're talking 2011. So
that does not. Okay.
Yeah, because Windows 8 I think is 2013.
You can't tell me Windows 7 was released in 2010.
I don't know. I just know that this.
Okay, it was released in 2009.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, this was before Windows 8, 100%. But I do know that the computers weren't the 8-bit, you know, SNES. I don't know what. Well, that's 16-bit. Never mind. Never mind. NES, 8-bit, 16-bit SNES. Wait, did you say? Yeah, I missaid. Yeah.
I'm about to say.
The N64 had better graphics than those computers at the other school. Anyways, these monitors and the speakers, it was Windows 7, so we actually were able to go on Cool Math Games. Does anybody know what that is?
Oh, that's what started it all.
Yeah.
Listen,
and
Cool Math Games is where it is at. If somebody hasn't played Cool Math Games, they haven't truly lived into 2000s kid like life. I'm telling
you, there was nothing like it. And
especially when you go on like Cooler Math, oh boy.
I'm pretty sure we were supposed to play math games, but we ended up not doing that. I don't think we were supposed to be playing those other games like the Run 2. I think it was because kids didn't know how to listen and we all just did it. And we also watched Brain Pop. A lot of people don't know what that is.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, Brain Pop is a very exclusive thing. I honestly didn't really care for it. It was there, but Cool Math was where
I am the sun. Like
it was. I don't know. You have to look it up later. But it was like a robot and a girl. Okay, it was weird.
Oh no, not that. Oh no, not that.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm right.
Okay, so also abcya.com. That was another one.
ABCYA is still up, but it's so bad now.
Yeah.
It's nothing like what it was. But the original ABCYA, that used to be my thing. Do you remember Civiballs?
Yes.
Like, you know, like the little balls from the civilizations? Like, there was like a Greek mythology one. That used to be my favorite
Rome?
game.
I think it was a Rome one.
Yeah. That was the thing. Yeah. It's dead now, though.
Yeah,
because
that was...
Flash died. And so I'm really sad, but it was so good.
Yeah, that was a whole different thing. There was a whole different time, okay? This was pre-Windows 8, okay? So, the only thing that I really liked about that school was it was way easier to make friends. Way easier. Because there were so many different people there. And, it was just so many different types of people there. And then there was this one girl named Megan, and then my dad swore that I had a crush on her. I didn't.
What?
I didn't. It was because I watched a movie.
I don't know.
There was a girl character in there that I liked. It wasn't Megan, but I associated with Megan, and then my dad thought I was like losing it, and then my dad made me go and give her gifts and stuff, and I'm just like,
oh, good
that grief. Is not like. I was just like, this is you got to chill out, and he recorded it. He recorded it on his. And I'm just like, this is.
I got
you gotta chill. You gotta chill out, man. That's not.
I'm about to call your dad tomorrow and ask him for.
Okay, so second grade we got Miss Pretlow, and she was a cool teacher.
Right,
I enjoyed Miss Pretlow.
Just ain't playing no games.
But she's not playing any games. That's the thing, you know. So, but she did threaten to take my magnets because I kept playing with them in class that I got.
Okay, well that's that.
But I wasn't doing it. I wasn't hurting anybody though. I was just playing with the magnets.
Okay, that makes.
It wasn't. I wasn't making noise though. I just had magnets. Oh. They were like horseshoe magnets. And I guess I guess she just. Listen, this is why they had to put me on medication. Okay.
That is not.
Because I wouldn't focus in class. All right. That's how I was. I wasn't even disruptive. I just didn't focus all the time. I wanted to do other things. You know, but I did. The thing is that I did not pay attention. I paid attention very well. I just every now and then I would want to mess around with some magnets. Okay, And
I'm not gonna give my opinion on that.
yeah, she said she was gonna take them and use it for her next class. That's what she told me.
What?
And I'm like, this was also the year that I got introduced into Minecraft. Okay, this is where I started playing Minecraft. I was like 7. Okay, that was when I started playing Minecraft. And I mean like heavily, not just like dabble into it. I mean like heavily play Minecraft. Not like, oh, you know, I had my because my brother showed it to me, but he didn't like play it for me. Like he just let me do whatever I wanted. So I'm the one that discovered how to like actually play the game. But well back then anyway. But yeah, my brother Dante, he's the one who he was playing before I was. He was playing with his friends on the mic. But regardless,
I didn't know he ever did that.
oh yeah,
He was in the PvP community before us. Conspiracy theory.
I feel like he would have told me if he was. But
I don't believe so.
let me tell you, the cafeteria days, that food was so much worse than
yeah.
it was the only cool thing
This is
about
public
that.
school?
Oh yeah, this is Creekside.
Oh well, that explains the cafeterias.
Right, and I'm not even
I
complaining.
know not everyone, and I know some are good. Just
Right, yeah.
generally they're bad.
That wasn't, honestly, I've had worse and I've had better, but it was definitely a downgrade from the private stuff, you know. But the great thing about this cafeteria is, like I said, the opportunity to talk to people was so much larger, and you know, or just how it was. This was also when I met my friend Dalen, also another guy named Shane Brickhouse.
That is not a name I have ever heard before.
Listen, it was a trio. Okay, we weren't always together, but we would hang out in the PE, because the thing about the PE was we were actually doing stuff this time. Like once you opened the door, you had to start running immediately, like around the PE. That's how it was, like over and over, like fast. And he would play like "Hey Y'all" by Outkast. I'm being
Outkast
serious.
is crazy.
And then turned down for what? Like because this is 2011, 2012. Okay, this is the
that makes more. Yeah, that makes tons of sense.
And then he was playing like what was the name of Party Rock in the House Tonight? Like dun 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 dun, that song.
I haven't heard that one.
Okay, anyways, or Party Anthem. I don't know what, just Party Rock Anthem, something like that.
Oh, that.
It was all those songs. And
it's just 2012 peak.
And he would, his name was Coach Johnson, and he was a favorite among the people. Let's just put it that way. But man, right, those days were crazy. But yeah, that's when I met. That was when I met Dalen and Shane. I haven't seen Shane since those days. I'm still in contact with Dalen though, even though he lives somewhere else.
I haven't heard of that man.
Oh yeah, Shane. Yeah, I'm going too deep now, but
okay, yeah, I gotta ask you about that later.
Yeah, but Dalen, I actually was able to keep in contact with him up until this point, at least to some extent. But 3rd grade, right? That's when we had Miss Wildy and Miss Alexander, and they were good at teaching, but they were definitely on the strict side. If you weren't paying attention, I got yelled at by Miss Wildy because I was paying attention. But she thought I wasn't paying attention, but I was.
Okay.
And she yelled like very loud and like directly at me. But we're not gonna talk about that. But her accent was so cool though. She had like this, like, I don't know what kind of accent it was, but it was a cool accent.
She like German?
I don't know, but she was like a she was like a I don't know. She just had like some type of like she was like a very confident person, you know, a very confident vibe. You know, she would tell you, she was super straight up. You know, she was
Scottish then.
Something. Miss Alexander, she wasn't playing any games. Miss Alexander wasn't playing no games at all. Like I said, I already mentioned previously, she was not playing not even. Listen, the amount of I did not get along with her, unfortunately, because she would. Oh my goodness, she would literally tell me. She said like, she literally told me, you know, like, you know, that my butt would get fired up. I'm like, I was like, no, no.
I don't want to know what she meant by that.
I don't know, but I was like, I yelled at her. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm good. All right, so I asked Miss Wildy. I was like, so what do you think about these super donuts? And she was like, they taste like sawdust. And I'm like, oh, I thought you would like them. I didn't know you thought they were taste like sawdust. It was so fun. So the school was overflowing.
I'll be respectful about a lot of things, but if you tell me that super donuts taste like sawdust, you need to get out of my super joke.
Listen,
obviously.
The school the school was overflowing, so they had trailer parks. Okay, so we had trailer classrooms. Okay, this third grade, Miss Wildy had to move her class to a trailer classroom. Okay,
I am so confused right now.
They had them outside of the school, and I was like, man, I want to go inside one of those. And then when I realized how separate it was from the school, I was like, this is so good, because when we have fire drills, I won't get jump scared anymore. And the school had a Siemens UMMT system, but and Faraday pull stations. No one knows what I'm talking about. It's okay.
Faraday isn't a name I've heard in a minute.
I used to think it meant Friday, and I was like, oh, Friday? When? No, fourth grade comes, right? We got Miss Jackson and Miss Sherrick. Now, this was 20. This is when I switched my glasses, because I switched glasses many times. And in third grade, I had these like black thin glasses with red on them, very thick glasses. And before that, I had these blue glasses. And then the third pair I had was like these black glasses, and I'll show it on the screen in 2015. They look like the blue ones, but they were like thinner. They look really good. But in fourth grade, that's when I actually had a class with Dalen, because I re-met him, and I was like, okay, there weren't really that many issues with that grade, because Miss Jackson, even though, you know, she had like some sass to her or whatever, she was very chill and very nice. Very nice person. I actually would get up and sweep right before class ends every single day. I would sweep the entire trailer room. The entire room.
Bro, just sweep the entire trailer park.
Yes, I cleaned. But I really thought the way that she presented her personality was funny, so I would kind of mirror the things she said a lot of the times. But I was very extra. I was just extra, okay? I was very extra. And she used to say, like, John, you special. And I'm just like,
oh gosh, that means something completely different now.
I'm like, wait a second.
What does that mean?
Because when people say that you're special, usually it means that you have some type of mental.
Well, I know
difference.
that, but back then it didn't mean that as much. I mean, I guess
that's what she meant, though. That's the thing. Okay. She wasn't. That's just how she talked. But she knew I was different, because she was like, what? But she wasn't mean about it. She didn't ever insult me or threaten me. And when the kids would act up, she would always use me as an example of how to not act up. But this was when me and Dalen were into like Five Nights at Freddy's and all this stuff. This was when Five Nights at Freddy's first came out. Okay, so this was
Five
like
Nights at Freddy's was actually a thing. I mean, I guess it's
yes. This 2014, so this was like peak Five Nights at Freddy's. Scott Cawthon. This was when the different classes thing started. Miss Sherrick, her favorite student was Armand. Okay. I'm convinced that her least favorite student was me. I'm convinced, because every single time, and I was so chill. There were some times where I was talking to my friends a little bit, maybe a little bit too loud, just a little bit. But I didn't say anything mean. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't hit anybody, didn't curse, didn't do any of that. I was to myself, but it seems like everything I did there was something wrong with what I did. And it always confused me, because like I had a journal. You're probably gonna be like, what, bro, why did you have a journal?
I know, I don't blame you. I like writing. I've always liked the idea of a journal. I've just never kept one.
If y'all couldn't tell by the way I'm dressed, I'm one of those type of guys, okay? I had a journal, and I would write about my day. I write about things that I wanted to write about. It wasn't like
what happened to that?
It wasn't like it wasn't like a full diary, but it was like when I was bored, that's what I did. And she took she took it from me just completely, just took it, no reason, just because she didn't want me to write in it. And it wasn't that I guess her excuse probably was that I wasn't paying attention, but I can guarantee you that I wasn't not paying attention to what she was saying. She just didn't want me to. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to figure it out, but she took it completely, and she didn't give it back to me at all. I had to ask for it back. Like if I didn't ask for it back, she probably would have still had it now. And you know what's weird? What's weird is
she just stole your journal.
Yeah, I had to ask for it. Yeah, and you know it was weird because I could name probably about like maybe about 5 or so different kids that were way worse than I was when it came to like how they acted and how they talked and how loud they were. Probably more than that. But there was this one time where I laughed, I snickered because I was talking to I don't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody about something, right? And she was just like, "That's it. I'm going to call your mom." And I'm just like, bro, I just laughed a little too loud. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't even say anything bad. Something they said, I guess, was funny. And guess what happened? She took me outside to call my mom while she was at work. And guess what happened?
Did your mom fuss her out?
She didn't answer the phone. And she tried calling like multiple times, didn't even answer the phone. So I'm just like, why are we making up issues that don't even exist? But the thing is that I never told her that our mom was my brother. If I did, she would probably be like, but see.
Oh.
Right, you get where I'm going with this? Yeah. Okay,
no,
anyways.
Because people don't make sense to me, but I'll just keep going.
But you see how it doesn't make any sense, though, right?
Oh, so that's where you're going with it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Fast forward 5th grade. My mom would, before I go into that, one more thing. My substitute teacher was this older black guy with like a mustache, right?
This
yes.
has gone in multiple different directions, and I now no longer have any expectations for what's coming next.
Listen, this guy, he saw my name, right? John Blackwell IV, okay?
Oh, good.
He was like, wait a second. He was like, wait a second. I know your grandfather. And I'm like, yeah, he was like freaking out. And I'm just like, buddy boy. I'm like, how old? I'm like, what? Am I even 10? I was like, what? 10 maybe? And he's freaking out. He's like, oh yeah, but your granddad went to Crestwood. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know what that is.
This dude talking to you like you were a teenager who knew what Crestwood even was.
I knew that he explained it was a school, but I was like, I didn't know. I didn't ask what school my granddad went to. I didn't know, so I went back home and I asked him. I was like, do you know this guy? And he's like, did you went to Crestwood? He's like, yes, I did. I was like, okay, so he did know you because I guess my granddad was popular in school. He was voted most talented throughout the entire school. So in high school, so he was popular.
I am so confused.
He was popular. He was a saxophone player then.
Yeah, no, that makes sense now.
Yes. So
I'm even more confused.
Yeah. So yes, that's why he freaked out when he saw that we had the exact same name because my granddad's name is John Blackwell II. Okay, we had the same name. But my granddaddy was like, I don't know who this is.
Wow.
Anyways, 5th grade, my mom, Miss Landon was my teacher. She was actually pretty chill, but when my mom started picking me up, because she would pick me up early, because I told her, like, can you pick me up early? You know, you get off early, just pick me up early, right? I don't want to have to ride the bus. It's boring. And I didn't even get into the buses, but that's a whole different conversation. But the amount of different buses that we had to go through, like there was so many
bus types would take this conversation
bus types
beyond the limits of the
and school
universe.
bus drivers. And I remember my first bus driver too, and they used to be color coded by color, right? So like lime, for example, lime was my first bus, and then it was white. Anyways,
am I allowed to be confused?
Oh yeah, we can be confused. But Miss Landon would always pull me over, and she'd be like,
"You've ever responded to that?"
Yeah, but Miss Landon, she'd pull me over, and she was like, "John, why do you keep leaving early? Why do you keep getting early dismissal?" And I'm just because my mom just gets off early, and she kept asking me the same question. I'm just thinking to myself, why don't you ask my mom that? Because I'm like 11 years old. I'm like 11.
They expected a lot from an 11-year-old.
I don't have the answers for you. I just want to go home early. I don't know. Anyways, 5th grade was chill. Dalen was in a different class though, so I had to wave at him from across the room, unfortunately. But I did meet some other friends, but I tried starting these clubs, like the Black Diamond Club. I don't think this was called, something stupid like that. It's like the Diamond Club or something. And I would go around, and this is my way of making friends. I was like, you want to join this club, right? Because I wanted to start a group so bad. But no one really was understanding. But they did sign it, though. But it wasn't until 8th grade where this kid came back in middle school, and he was talking about how stupid it was. He's like, oh, man, I remember you wanted to do that stupid group. And, I just went ahead and signed it, And he wasn't mean about it, but he was just saying, like, I didn't understand it, man. And I'm just like...
why are you voicing him like he was some, 27-year-old?
Because that's how he talked.
Oh. But he was your age.
Yeah, but he was taller. He was taller.
Okay,
he looked older. He looked older.
Superiority complex.
Yeah, he looked older. He was taller. He was a dark-skinned guy. He had, short hair. He looked like a basketball player. And he had he
probably was one.
He talked in Ebonics. I don't know. That's why I did that voice, because he talked in Ebonics. So that's how he talked. But anyways, his name was Jaden, I think, or Jalen. I don't remember.
Now I'm very confused.
I don't remember his name.
That's like the least fitting name for somebody under that
all
description.
All I know is that Creekside was. The library teacher was cool. She looked like my grandma. Then she retired, and then it was just like some random person. I don't know who it was. They had my maternal grandmother. Our grandmother. And she had these crazy groovy lava lamps, and I looked up how much they were, and they were extremely expensive. And I was like, dang man, I wanted one. Anyways, and we had tea parties and stuff, and I think tea party dates with girls, and I'm like, what is this?
Tea party dates with girls?
Yes. I'm being serious.
Evolved.
And then we had
this is no longer school. This is.
And then we had a line dancing where they put it into the yearbook news, and.
Sorry, what did you?
And I was in that picture, and I was like, wait a minute, there was no cameraman or anything. How did they get this picture? It was at an angle. It was like an aerial shot of the people, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, so we're finding these images when we're done with this episode, because I know they're on record.
Who did that? I'm sorry. I was looking around. I didn't see anybody with a camera. It must have been the school security camera, but there's no way that it was that clear. It was confusing. Anyways,
did they have a drone that you just didn't see?
I don't know. This was 2015, 16. I don't know what was going on. Listen, Creekside was a up and down situation. It was an up and down situation, and I don't necessarily miss it. I miss more of the people in it than the. We also had this thing called Gator Cash, where it was like a currency. The book fair. I actually still have some Gator Cash in there that I still have from elementary school. It's right over there in my bookshelf. Yes, I do.
That's some cursed stuff right there.
Gator Cash. That was our currency. You could buy things with it. Anyways, we're gonna move on to middle school now. Okay. So the good thing about this is not much to talk about.
Yeah, that's pretty much my entire middle school life too.
All right, let me summarize this, okay? I was going to go to John Yates. John Yates was a rundown school. I didn't like it. I was just like, I wasn't scared to go to it, but I was just like, I hear only negative things about this school. And then my grandma said, well, I'll homeschool you. So I ended up, for 6th and 7th grade, I was homeschooled by my grandma. Okay, this is
new information to me. I had no idea that's what happened.
Yeah. It was that was the reason why I got homeschooled, because I was just like, why can't I be homeschooled? I don't understand. I don't see the problem with it. I know it takes a lot sometimes. That's why I didn't force it too much, but I was just like, that's all I want to do, So that happened. And that's when me and ItaliX Zestful over here, whatever name you want to call him, but he goes by ItaliX. But yeah, we this is when we started playing Minecraft together and all this stuff. We played before, but this is when we actually started playing games together, and going into each other, going to his house and all this stuff. Anyways, 6th and 7th grade, that happened. Roblox, I got into Roblox.
Oh, good grief, that changed.
And then 8th grade came. They were opening this new school called Cronfred Cherry Middle School, and my group
confusing.
This is and by the way, Creekside and Cronfred Cherry are both in Suffolk. Okay.
But we're in a good way or a bad way?
They just were, I don't know, they just where they're in Suffolk. But I'll just for context. But
so they're rich people schools.
My group of kids were the oldest group to ever attend that school in history, because 8th graders were the oldest, and that was the brand new school. So we were like the oldest to ever go there. Anyways,
I didn't know. I keep forgetting 8th grade is considered middle school, because it's pretty much just 9th grade except with advanced math.
Yeah, and that was the first school with locker rooms that I've been to, but it was really, really nice. And I actually enjoyed myself there. I enjoyed myself there because it was brand new and everything was brand new, and for the third time everything was brand new. So you can just imagine, it's a brand new school. Everything is new. The classrooms are new, the kitchen's new, like the cafeteria.
Am I even gonna make that joke?
I did not like the gym because we had to do the fitness gram picture test every single time. Yeah. Every single time we did the fitness gram picture test. I'm thinking
I forgot that was a real thing and not just a meme.
And I'm just like, why we gotta do this every time? Like, that's not fun. And the truth is, I needed that because I was overweight. This was when I got overweight, because before I wasn't. Like in elementary, I was very, very, very skinny. Like you can see my abs. But then I got older, like 12, 13. I don't know what happened, man. As my mom claims, my mom claims it's because I ate 2 breakfasts in the morning. I ate one at the house and one at school, but I don't know if that's true.
I honestly still think you were misdiagnosed. I don't think that's what was going on. I wasn't there.
I don't know. It is weird. Genetics are weird, but anyways, I didn't need that exercise. And
that don't mean it was fun.
This is good grief. Oh no, it was very, especially for me. It was not fun.
Daily sounds like an absolute nightmare.
This is, by the way, guys, this was 2018, 2019. Okay.
That's when this was.
Yeah, this was
dawn of the PvP community era.
Right. This is when the game calls collection started.
I don't know.
It was around this time. Okay, we're not. That's a whole different conversation. But anyways, I'm gonna speed it up.
Too much.
8th grade was cool. But this was when we had like tons of different teachers. There's too many. I don't even remember all their names. And I used to bring my Switch to school, and I used to bring. We all used to.
Yeah, that's when the Switch was a thing.
This is when it was like newer too, and we all used to bring our Switches. This is like I had like my friend Sam, my friend Kari, and a few other people. We would all bring our Switches and play at the cafeteria. And I had like a cool case on mine. It was really cool. Anyways, they had some random PB. I don't know if it was a PB&J or I don't know what it was, but I ate that mess. I threw up that night. So some of their lunch choices were questionable, but besides that, I really
sounds like an understatement for that level of.
Right, and I'm not going to get into any of the crushes that I had because that's a whole different.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, yeah, no.
Or the people that like me. I'm not gonna get into that.
Oh, that's even worse.
I'm not gonna get into that either. That's a whole different conversation. Okay, that would take me forever to explain. Yeah, 8th grade was cool, and then 9th grade is when that was my first high school, Nesbitt River. This was pre-COVID. This was 2019, late 2019, early 2020. This was before COVID hit America. This was only late in 2019, and I love that school so much because the teachers knew what they were doing. They cared about their job. I cared about learning. I was really heavily into music then. I was really, especially hip hop. I was really heavy into like neo soul and hip hop.
You went for me.
Yeah, I was into like Bilal and things of that nature.
I guess that explains.
I really wanted long hair.
Busta Rhymes songs.
Yes, it does.
I was joking.
No, you're right. I really wanted long hair. Like
that scares me.
I was dying to get dreadlocks then.
I remember.
That was my first dreadlocks. Actually, was around that time. So anybody saying that I stole anybody's. I got inspiration from somebody. The only real person I got inspiration when it comes to like dreadlocks was Bilal. 2001, that era of Firstborn Second, his album when he was 21, even though he looked like he was like 25. He was actually my age, current age now in that album cover. But that was that and Finn's blonde hair. Those were the two main inspirations for why I wanted long hair. But anyways, those were good times because everybody from middle school jumped over to that school, and we all did the same thing we did in middle school. And then my dad moves again, and my mom moves like 80 times compared to my dad. But we're not talking about that. My dad moves again, right? And I had to switch schools to another school called Kings Fork, and that was probably the worst school I've ever been to.
Oh boy, we're already ahead of schedule. We can't even get into it.
No, we can't. But let me tell you, that mess was prison fuel. Listen, it was.
Did you just say prison fuel?
I don't know what I said, but listen.
What does that even mean?
Listen, that mess looked like a prison in there. I did not like that school at all, and I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The teachers, oh my goodness. I would send them an email, and then COVID hit, right? So COVID hit, and then it was like a bittersweet thing because I didn't have to deal with that school, but I had to go online, and it was the same teachers, and I literally would send this long email about something I needed like dire help with because I didn't understand it, and I was like, do I need to do this or do this? And her only answer was a lowercase no. That was all she typed in her email, a lowercase no.
The same school where they assigned you like 1,000 different things to do.
Yes, it was.
And then
the teachers were also the teachers were vulgar as I don't know what. The kids were asking me vulgar questions. They were asking me about like, oh, when you have, I'm not gonna say it on here, but when you get into that, what are you gonna do? And I'm just like, why are you asking me that? Like, why do you want to? They were the same age as I was. I'm just like,
so like not old enough to be asking that question. Nobody should be asking. I'm just like,
why are you asking? That wasn't even the worst thing I got asked. That was just one of them. And I'm just like, and then these dudes come up to me and they're like, I'm minding my business, by the way. I didn't provoke any of this. I didn't do any of this. This is them. This dude comes out of nowhere and he's like, hey, he said that he wants to bleep 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 you in the bathroom. And I'm like, so how do you want me to react to that, bro? Like,
I don't think he wanted a reaction.
Can you please be normal? Please be normal. Like, don't come to me with some weird, like, why are you weird like that? Like I don't mind weird people because I'm weird too, but that, I don't know, that's a whole different type of weird.
That's not weird, that's psycho.
That's just like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
It's just like, what?
Anyways, all right, we're gonna move on. We gotta move on. COVID hits, blah blah blah. That's when 2019, 2020, okay, cool. That's when I got heavily into the Minecraft thing. That's when I met a whole different group of people. And then
a group of people that does not need to get mentioned on this stream.
No, not this time. 2021. And by the way, for anybody wondering, I did have a phone during all this time, so I was like blasting music through the hallways. Anyways, 2021 was the next time I went to in-person school. Late 2021, we moved to a different city, and this was the third high school. It was like a mixture between the first and the second. It looked like the first, but like the way that people acted was like the second. Like people would throw food at me when I'm sitting down. Like I'm just like mind my business. I didn't know. And keep in mind, the reason why I didn't like the second and the third high school is because I didn't know anybody there. All of my friends were still at the first one, so I just like moved away from all of them. So I tried making some type of friends, but they just, the way they talked and the way they communicated was a little strange. Let's just put it that way. They didn't want to have normal conversations. They wanted to have weird conversations about weird stuff or about extra personal stuff they have no business knowing or asking. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically my entire school situation. The third high school was cool, I guess, but then someone got murdered in the parking lot.
So that's the one that had the shooting.
Yeah. And then some other stuff happened, and now I'm just
like that sounded terrible.
It was absolutely terrible, man. And then another school, and there was a school shooting at the school next door to it. It wasn't next door, but it was like the sister school of it. I'm just like, bro, what is happening, man? Like, I just want to chill. Why we gotta worry about all these lockdown stuff, people dying and all this stuff, And yeah, it was like I said, I didn't know a lot of people at third school, but it was very musical because I had a piano and a guitar class, and I was able to connect with musicians and this guitarist that was far better than I don't know if I ever be on his level on the guitar, honestly, but he was so good, and I was able to talk to him about it, and then I was testing out the piano, and he was like, "Dang," he was like, "You can play." I was like, "No, I'm just playing a little bit." He's like, "No, you can play." And I'm just like, "Oh shucks, thank you." Because you were like crazy on the guitar, bro. Like you were like on some other stuff. So the fact that you even complimented me is just crazy.
I'm deep on the piano, and immediately everyone thinks you're a genius.
What?
I said, if you hit a dominant 13th on the piano, everyone.
Oh, I know.
I know that's why. Like
the worst part is that's not even the chord I played.
Why did Caxi just upload? Okay, we need to end this.
Okay, yeah. Anyways. I finished my high school online because I was tired of the crazy, stupid stuff. And then I graduated in 2023. And let me tell you, I was exhausted. Because, I was exhausted, bro. But, I got through it, and we got through it. And you can end it off talking about your,
my ending to high school?
Yeah, just your ending.
That's what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that happened very recently. My ending to high school was atrocious. I'll just put it like this. I was supposed to take only 2 classes, both out of books. One of the books was terrible. The other book I actually excelled in. Pre-calculus and physics, by the way. I excelled in pre-calculus. The physics book was the worst book I have ever read in terms of structure and, use. So, I took the online course. And I started slacking, and then stuff started going on in real life so much. And I was like, I'm done. So I stayed up for 48 hours. Not collectively, not at all at once. I stayed up for 24 hours one night, and I did it again 2 nights later. And then I finished. And that was the end of my high school. It collectively took me a few days to finish. The collected time that I actually spent reading or researching or anything, it was only a week. If you want to know about the rest of the years that I spent in high school, they were just all pretty much the same up until 12th grade. Just hard middle school.
Right.
That's all it was. I mean, even then, it's I just kept... English 1, 2, and 3 were all the same class. And you can't tell me that they didn't just copy and paste the lesson.
Listen.
You cannot tell me that those lessons are the same.
They literally were. And the worst part about it...
Subject predicate in 11th grade.
The worst part about it is that at my third high school... She tried to make it harder than it needed to be because it didn't need to be that. And I'm just like, what is this? This is not.
I had a better understanding of this as a 5th grader than I do now.
Right, and I'm just like, yeah, what? I don't know. Okay, well, insane. Anyways, school. Long story short, we're just gonna end it here. Private school, public school, and homeschool. They all have their pros and their cons.
To me, it always depends on the person. One might work better for the other. I will say though that the public school system does need some improvement. Has room for improvements. So does the private school system. But I don't think in this society those problems can be fixed effectively, given the situation that most of society has found themselves in this current time.
Right?
In this current time.
Yeah.
If things calm down, then there's definitely a way that they can be. There's definitely a way they can be.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a way that they can be. I can't talk or think today. Good grief. They can be fixed. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. They can, and it's just gonna, it's gonna have to take time. Just gonna take time. I honestly don't miss the days of having to carry these heavy binders, like these fabric binders with heavy book bags, and I was using the same book bag I used in 2nd grade. I was using in my 3rd high school. It's the same book bag. And the crazy part is, it wasn't because we couldn't afford another one. It's just because there was no reason to use another one, but it was so worn. You know, it's just, I honestly just don't miss. I just don't miss that. I think I had my run, my 14, 15, however many year run was good enough. And the fact that I was able to graduate and get my diploma when I know there are people out there that haven't graduated and, you know, they dropped out, which I'm not gonna point my finger at you. I'm just saying, like, I'm happy that I didn't end up going in that direction, because there were a lot of dark times where I really didn't want to do anything, to be honest with you. So
I totally understand dropping out for some people. You know, there's a difference between dropping out for like laziness and then dropping out for good reason. You know, and I'll give it to some people. But like dropping out because, you know, laziness is one thing, but I know that that's usually not the case. So again, even if they were, I'm not gonna bash anybody.
No, because there's no clue how they're, you know, who knows how we're all gonna end up anyway with that type of stuff. You know, like they could end up being like, they could end up turning their entire life around. They, you know, dedicate their life to God, and then it just, you know,
they could still get a GED too. I mean,
a GED.
Yeah, a GED, and then instead of a diploma, give it a college. I mean, the GED does have its limitations, but you know, there's workarounds.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that's school for you.
Boy, oh boy.
We will see you guys in the next episode. We'll probably record another one this week because we skipped a week. So
many weeks.
Yeah. So
this entire series has been being planned for like a solid 2 months, and we haven't been able to do it.
Right.
Situations.
Right. So if anybody really listened to all of this and you're really interested in like the school experiences, I really do appreciate it. But yeah,
send us an email at. No, I'm joking. We don't have contact information.
If you want to be featured on this show, you can
don't ask us
either email me at ParmaJohnIV@gmail.com. That is ParmaJohniv@gmail.com. Or you can hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is at ParmaJohnIV. So yeah, those are the best ways to hit me up. If you want to be part of this, you want to interview, you know. There's really, like, I'm not really taking this too seriously, you know, because like there are so many podcasts out there. I'm honestly doing this because just for people anybody that finds our music, because me and ItaliX, our group is Skylighted, okay? So if you want to check out any of what we're doing currently,
yeah, we do this for fun.
You can't take this stuff too seriously. You know, you can take it seriously, but not too. You know, like, we're not trying to get famous off of this. You know, this is just for people that want the behind the scenes. This is the behind the scenes. You know, you want good talking. This is what it. You know, here we are. So, you know, check out Skylighted. Look up Skylighted Music on YouTube. Even though it's just Skylighted or Skylighted Productions, that's how you look it up. Bro, it'll actually pop up on the search engine. But we're on, you know, YouTube, Spotify. We're on Apple. My stuff is also on there. My solo stuff is ParmaJohnIV. It's on there, so, which is pronounced Parmesan the Fourth. But yeah, so those are our socials. Yeah, we have more to come. Definitely more to come. See you guys on the next episode, though. Appreciate everybody that's watched this.
Indeed, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, even if it's just one person. But
you're that one person, we appreciate you.
Listen, we're gonna have a lot of topics.
Oh boy.
So this has been the introductory episode of Whatever Works, I guess. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Next time to hear us talk about what's the next topic, I don't know. I don't think there is a next topic.